So, you have informed yourself, registered to vote, maybe joined a party, maybe not, and you voted. What else can you do to actively be a citizen and participate in the electoral process, to express your own political values that were learned in your political socialization that is a component part of the mass of public opinion that's out there? How's that for tying it all together? So, in addition to voting, you can talk and listen to people. That's actually a lot more important than you may think. By being an out-of-the-closet conservative or an out-of-the-closet progressive or an out-of-the-closet anarcho-syndicalist or socialist or an out-of-the-closet independent, you can engage other willing participants in discussions of political ideas and issues. These discussions can be stimulative. In other words, they can be interesting for their own sakes. If you're interested in politics and if you're interested in national and international affairs, it's a good way to develop friendships with people who agree and with people who don't. And that's a wonderful thing, by the way, about being a student. Unless you're in college. And even then, it's something you should still try. It's something that most Americans should try. To cultivate real relationships, good, positive, strong relationships with people with whom you disagree. I value those friends and family who are left-wing, liberal, progressives, or socialists. I don't agree with them. I express my disagreement in very, very basic terms, very, very strong terms. But I love them, and I learn things from them because they help keep me honest, and they remind me that the world's truth is bigger than my notions. That's important. The humility to understand that the world's truth is bigger than my beliefs. My beliefs are a small set of opinions. I care about them. I try to cultivate them. I try to be honest about them. But the world's bigger than that. And there are other people, good people, smart people, wise people, who come to very different conclusions. If you lose the ability to positively interact with people who have different ideas, you become a resident of your own prison, a ghetto world where the only people allowed are people who think like you. And the more you become like that, the more guilty or the more likely it is that you will succumb to a communicable and preventable form of mental illness. The loss of perspective. The belief that reality really does reflect your belief system, and that only someone who is stupid or evil could possibly disagree with you. Talking and listening to people who agree with you and disagree with you help keep a person honest. They're important for their own sake. And there are also ways that you can use to try to influence other people to at least understand your point of view, even if they don't agree with it. I understand with sympathy many of the progressive and liberal beliefs of the people around me. I say with sympathy. I don't agree with them, but I understand how a good, intelligent person could come to that conclusion and believe that sort of thing. That's an important perspective. Cultivate it. Go out of your way to talk to people who think differently than you. Try to keep it from getting into blah, 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 shouting match. Try to keep it thoughtful. Try to keep it interesting. Be willing to say, well, I understand what you mean. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand. Now, you might persuade other people. Then again, you might be talking to someone who's probably not going to be persuaded by you. I recommend that you don't try to persuade them beyond a certain point. Instead of trying to sell them your ideas, just explain them. Explain in a humble way, but a persuasive way, a compelling and passionate way, why you think what you think. and give them a chance to do the same. Now, if either of you become insistent that you've got to accept the validity of my point of view over yours, walk away. Say, nice talking to you. We're going somewhere I'm not interested in being. I'm not going to give in. This is not a power thing. I was talking with you about ideas, and it seems to be going elsewhere. So it's good. We'll agree to disagree and leave it. Talking and listening, absolutely underrated, but it is an important part of being an active citizen. Now, beyond that, you can take part in advertising. If you've seen my truck, you know that I have bumper stickers. During the political season, put a sign on my lawn. Actually, I put a sign on my truck because my homeowners association doesn't like us to put political signs up. Yeah, I'm moving out of there because my own property, I want to be able to put a sign up at election time. I'm just being curmudgeon. In any event, you can advertise. You can have bumper stickers. You can wear a political pin. You can carry a sign. You can advertise. It doesn't involve necessarily doing anything other than being willing to have your candidates or your party's slogan or name on your vehicle or on your property somewhere. Not everyone does that. Most people don't. But it's fairly easy to do. If you're really passionate, you can volunteer. Volunteer means you work without getting paid. Why would a person do that? That seems kind of silly to me. A person would volunteer because they believe, because they care, because they want to make the world a better place. Republican and Democrat and Independent and members of other parties are mostly, these party organizations are mostly staffed, especially during election season, by volunteers, by people who choose to come in and work for the party or the candidate's election. Now, that requires a willingness to spend time and energy to put your life on hold for those few hours every week that you're working, however long you choose to make a commitment for. It's not something that most people tend to do. But being a political volunteer gives you a chance to see how wild, woolly, and crazy the political process actually is. On the one hand, it's incredibly dull. You know, you got people obsessing about who needs bumper stickers and yard signs. You got other people obsessing about opportunities to go to this public event or that public event where you might speak to 15 or 20 people. But that sort of little thing is the stuff that dreams are made of. The dream, if you believe in it, that your candidate is actually a virtuous person willing and able to make the world a better place. That they stand for ideas that you believe in. That they stand for things that would keep society working or improve it or make it great again. Not that that's ever been the slogan. Volunteer. And finally, politicians are not alien life forms born among us, though some people would have it as that. Politicians are human beings like us. Politicians are Americans like us. At some point, they started out as a voter, and then they became willing to advertise and talk to people and listen to them and to volunteer. And then at some point, something in them said, you know what? I want to do this. I want to take on this challenge. I want to be a leader in this, and I am willing to put my good name on a sticker on the line in order to try to make the world a better place. All politicians at some point have to make the choice. Now is the time when I personally am going to risk my good name, perhaps my money, my time, my reputation, and my peace of mind in hopes of getting a large number of my fellow citizens to work for me, to work for what I want to do, and to encourage as many people as possible to vote for me. Some of you may at some point run for political office. At some point I may run for political office. Politicians are not aliens. They are people like you and me who, for various reasons, decided to make it their own personal quest to seek elective office and try to use whatever skills they've been given in order to do the job well, according to the right principles, whatever those principles happen to be. We'll continue next time.